Hello,
Hey,
everybody.
guys. Who's first?
Go for it.
How are you guys? Happy to see you guys are here for the Jarvis workshop.
Yes, we're just double checking everything's working on this side.
Yes.
Let us know in the comments first and foremost if you can hear and see us. If our entire setup here is like way trippy because my arm is right there. Y'all have probably never seen a webcam Zoom meeting like this before, have you? So we're gonna have a lot of fun today, and make sure you can hear us, see us, and also let us know where you are coming from. We are here in Florida. It's raining outside. Before the call, we had a couple little power flickers, so we pray that we keep power throughout the entire session. Really excited to have this guys here with you guys.
Yeah, it's a super exciting workshop because we're working with AI here, so we don't always know what's going to happen, but it's going to be really fun.
Anytime we do a tech demo, something tends to go wrong, and it's nobody's individual fault. Like, these things just happen. Now it's even worse when it's not like step by step by step. There's an AI robot who's going to be working with us here today, so he may have a mind of his own. He does that sometimes, but we're still getting him in line.
Awesome. So we see a lot of people from Canada, California, Texas, somebody from Johannesburg. Stay safe.
Ontario, Canada, Washington State. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So we have a bunch to share with you guys today, but I also just want to make sure that you guys feel welcome to ask any questions as we're going through. Can't promise we're going to get to everything because we do have a fair amount of prepared material for you. Some of it's on writing blog posts. Some of it's on actually building a bit of a business if you're just getting started, an income stream, in a totally non-slimy way, by the way, because there are some weird weird strategies out there. This is going to be a very classical one that has worked for me, and I think could work for you guys as well. So yeah. Let's see here.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And at the end, there's going to be some templates that you can use to make the whole process faster for you. So super valuable. There will be a replay after this. So if your kids, you have to go pick up your kids or something happens, we've got you covered. You'll get the replay. But while you're here, you can ask us questions and kind of interact with us. So
yeah,
you want to go ahead and...
We will, but also one last little like preview call to action. If you are here and you are looking at being an author or getting writing, we have an actual challenge that's going on. Some of the people that are here in the comments, I noticed them. They're actually in the challenge. I am personally getting published on Amazon as just a Kindle Direct publish, not like a big publishing deal, but I'm helping you guys put together your entire publishing plan and doing it alongside with you in 30 days. So we're already kind of like a week into it, but if you're here and you're not part of that challenge, you can go to it. We'll put an overlay on the screen in a second, but it's I'll put a link down below for that. It's super fun. If y'all are in the challenge, let us know. And I'm still getting eloquent. You know, we're getting there. We're getting all warmed up. So let us know.
Anthony and William, funny. William says, I'm very challenging. Awesome. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Soul Care Mom and Rose and Sky. All right. So let's kick it off.
Let's kick it off. I'm going to share my screen.
I have to go first.
Suzi is up first. And also there is an overlay there, the Get Published Challenge. If you go to go.startemonblog.com/published, you can join that. But that's the only self-promotion we'll be doing today. It's a really fun challenge. I'll hide that right now. If y'all have any questions about that, leave it in the chat. But Suzi, you're going to get us started on how to leverage Jarvis to go farther, faster online. Farther, faster, further.
Are you going to go over the agenda?
Yeah, let's
There's
do
a
that.
slide before my slides.
Okay, I'll get it started. Suzi, she's done this a million times and she still gets nervous. I think it's so cute. So we've got a few objectives for us today, and also we'll open it up for Q&A depending on how time fits us. Suzi's first going to go through how to research and write an SEO optimized blog post in under an hour using Jarvis. We're not going to do everything step by step, but we have done this. This is proven to be able to be done in under an hour. And she's going to walk you through those steps and show you some behind the scenes of using Jarvis in the process. I'm going to help. A lot of what we heard is that people, they love the idea of Jarvis, but that monthly bill is something they really have a hard time getting over. And we understand where you're coming from. When I left my job, I went straight into client services because I knew it was the fastest path to create a full-time income as I was building my own passive income business on the side. So I'll walk you through the process I used when I was getting clients in the beginning and how it can be used to leverage Jarvis to be very efficient as a service provider for freelance writing. So I'll walk through that. And lastly, we have 3 little bonus presents for you, some blueprints of how we use Jarvis, as well as just kind of general blueprints on creating a written content-based business. So that's a lot. We'll see how long we go. We don't want to be here all day, but as long as the party keeps going, we'll be happy to serve you guys today.
All right. So first thing we're going to do is how to research and write a blog post in under an hour. So as we went through the agenda, you can see like this is the one skill that once you master this skill with Jarvis, and to be honest with you, it takes a little bit learning the tool. It's a very advanced tool. It took me a couple of days to kind of get the hang of it, but once I did and once I understood how to use it, it made it so much easier. So first, this is the first skill we're going to learn, and then you can use this skill. And then John will cover how to make money with this skill, right? So this is the basics that we have to start with. Depending on your niche, you can use different tools. We're not going to go into keyword research, but I'll show you a little bit of how you can find the keyword and then get that content and gather the information and put that into Jarvis. So we're going to go through this step by step, and I'll toggle back and forth. Okay. I have to share my screen.
Yeah. I mean, okay. You just say next slide. I can help you there if you'd like.
No, I'm actually going to be showing it.
Yeah, do it.
So
I'll turn
that's me. Okay, cool. That's my screen now. All right. So first thing, we're going to get the keyword from Google or Ahrefs for finding a good keyword. So I am going to pretend I'm in the niche of helping people sleep better, helping them lower stress, maybe like sleep better for busy moms or whatever your niche is. So, we're going to go into how to fall asleep fast. And let's say you got that keyword. Maybe you use keywords everywhere or Ahrefs. You can use their 7-day trial to pull out a lot of keywords for yourself, but that's a whole different lesson. And say you found this keyword. Okay, I want to teach people how to fall asleep fast because they lay awake at night with insomnia. All right, so the first thing that I would do, and there's other tools that can help you extract information out of this first page of Google. Sometimes they work well. I tried using SEO Minion and it didn't give me the results, and I tried to download some stuff and it didn't work. So anyway, you know what? I'm going to do it manually. So you have your keyword, you search for it on Google, and then we're going to go and click through the questions that are applicable to that keyword. Because the more of these questions you click on, and the people also ask section, the more you're going to get. But if you start clicking on a question of like, what food should I eat? It's going to go down that path. So be sure to click on the questions that relate to your keyword. How can I fall asleep instantly? Click on that one. So you can see more questions are generated here at the bottom. Why can't I sleep even though I'm tired? Should I stay up all night if I can't sleep? How do you fall asleep in 5 minutes? Can a 12-year-old fall asleep fast? Mom is trying to make her kid sleep. How long can you go without sleep? Okay, so maybe that was not the best question to click on. Why can I not sleep at night? How do I shut my brain off at night? Okay, so I'm gathering more of these questions. The more I click on them, the more I'm getting. So I'm going to extract these in a minute and put them into Jarvis.
Now, why are these questions showing up on Google, Suzi?
This is what people ask.
Exactly, which is the whole point of. I'm trying to get the point across.
That's great, yeah.
That's the whole point of SEO. Is that these are questions that people actually have. If you can answer those questions, it makes great content to serve your audience.
All right, let's get a couple more, because we're going to be pulling these out of Google and then putting them in Jarvis, and you're not going to be using all of them. So, I think we have here sleeping position. Click on a whole bunch. Okay, so we have a whole list of questions here. I'm going to just copy them.
Ooh, look at that.
Oh, so fancy. I'm very manual.
I didn't know you could do that.
Copy, and I'm going to open a notepad and just put it in here just so that it removes the formatting. Because if you copy and paste directly into Jarvis, it adds a lot of like spaces and formatting. So I'm just going to be nice and clean. I got all my questions here. Okay, so let's make sure I'm following along. Open Jarvis and the blog post workflow. Okay, now we have our questions. Copy them again without the formatting. We're going to go to Jarvis and then wait for it.
Take a sip.
Click on blog post workflow. All right, cool. The content we want to create is, the more we type here, the more Jarvis is going to know what we're creating. And we're talking about like it's actually a person. It's just a computer. Like Jarvis knows. Okay, weird. The better you describe what you want to write, the higher quality content Jarvis will produce. How to sleep faster at night when you have insomnia. Can you talk while I type?
Absolutely. Yeah. And really what Susie's talking about is kind of there's a concept of garbage in, garbage out. A lot of people are looking at Jarvis as being this, panacea, or it's like it's a button, you just keep pushing the button and you get this amazing quality out. And it can compose an entire blog post without any input for you, but you need to guide it. It's almost like, you are the manager of a brand new employee. This employee has a ton of energy, has a ton of knowledge, but maybe not the guidance that it needs. You are that guiding hand. So you will be working with Jarvis throughout this process.
Awesome. All right. So I told it a little bit how to sleep faster at night when you have insomnia, what to do to fall asleep faster when you're stressed, what causes insomnia, and how to prevent it. All right. So that's kind of the article that we want to go with. Keywords is fall asleep faster. Our title is, we're just going to click on Jarvis, say continue here, and click on it to generate ideas. Because right now we're on the spot and I want this thing to start working. All right. How to fall asleep faster at night when you have insomnia, how to sleep faster at night, 10 ways to fall asleep faster and stay asleep at night. I like this one because a lot, not all, but a large majority of the blog posts on the internet are listicles. So they go through a list of tips, a list of steps, right? People like having a step-by-step plan. Here's all the tips you can do. So I'm going to take this headline. It's going to be a good one. 10 ways to fall asleep faster and stay asleep at night. Intro paragraph. Again, I'm going to let Jarvis generate that for me. So that was pretty cool. It came up with the title for my blog post, and I only wrote that little bit, pretty much like 3 tiny sentences. All right, so intro paragraph. Do you have trouble sleeping? Do you fall asleep easily, but then wake up in the middle of the night? One of the greatest things about sleep is that it helps with stress, concentration, overall health. However, not everyone can sleep. Guys, I'm not going to read all this, but you can see that the outputs are legit. They make sense. We're not just composing gibberish from a computer. It's actually, what's the technology it uses?
GPT-3.
So yeah, what does that mean?
Nobody knows, but it's called it's basically GPT-3. It's artificial intelligence. It's this technology has gone and read about 10 to 14%, depending on which source you look at. It's read 10 to 14% of the entire internet and is taking that all in. And there's thousands of different data points where it's going to like actually understand how to write and how to learn from it. It's creepy stuff. It is like the future robots coming to attack us type of scenario, but it's fantastic for creating a tone of voice and writing skill.
Okay, so I'm just going to zoom in a little bit so people can see. I hope that's better.
Yeah.
Somebody's saying the resolution is a little small. Okay. So no one likes feeling exhausted all the time. It's hard to fall asleep when you feel stressed or have insomnia. There are a few things you can do to fall asleep faster and stay asleep at night. In this blog post, we will talk about 10 ways that might help you fall asleep faster and stay sleeping so your days aren't as exhausting. I think that one sounds awesome. Like it talks about the stress, the insomnia, and the 10 different ways. So I'm going to use that one. All right. So click on setup is complete, open editor. All right, so here's the beginning of our blog post, right? So now what we're going to do is we have our intro paragraph. We want to follow the structure of, we've just go flipping back to our workflow. We describe the content, we input our keyword, let Jarvis generate the title and the intro paragraph. We're going to copy and paste if people also ask questions into the document, and then we're going to organize the content, all right? So they'll also get a copy of the slide deck, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. So you guys can follow through this too. I'm gonna go back here. We have all our people also ask questions. And we're going to paste them into Jarvis. All right. So currently, we are at 275 words. All right. So definitely not a blog post yet, but we're working on it. And so far, I have written nothing. I have written 3 sentences to kind of introduce Jarvis to this. All right, pretty scary.
Putting us out of a job here, Jarvis.
Right? All right, so we're going to organize the content into a what, why, how blog post structure with lists and steps, right? It could be a numbered list or steps to achieve a goal. We're going to organize the questions into sections. We have our intro paragraph with a hook telling them like, hey, we're going to go through the 10 different ways to fall asleep faster. That's kind of our hook there. We're going to do a what to explain the topic, a why, and then a how that's going to go through all the steps, a conclusion, and a call to action. All right, so first we're going to do what is insomnia, right? So I'm going to let Jarvis write this. I haven't written much. Most of the time, it works way better if it's written or you've written some paragraphs to kind of prime it. That's what people are calling it, to give it kind of a knowing of what your tone is and what you're trying to write. But heck, let's test it out. So we're going to take this question. I'm going to paste it here. And if I do Control Enter, it's actually going to answer that question for me. So, all right. It's a great first sentence.
And also, if you create a formatting like showing H2s throughout your blog post, Jarvis is going to understand what's a more important sentence than other parts in the blog post formatting to help him out.
Like that, right?
Like that.
Perfect. All right. So what is insomnia? That's what Jarvis wrote. We can obviously come back and write a little bit more on that if you wanted to, but I want to go through the structure so you can see it. So why? So why would be, why do I have insomnia? What are the causes? How do you spell causes? C-A.
C-A-U-S-E-S.
Thank you. Just drawing blank.
As she's doing that, William has an awesome. So you can do a tone of voice with Jarvis, and so William, a buddy of mine, he says that he's excited to use Jarvis and have all of his articles written in the tone of voice of Elvis Presley. A rock and roll, man.
Maybe we should have Jarvis help us with speaking too.
Please.
All right. So causes of insomnia. I can either do Control J, right, or Control Enter. Which one do you suggest here?
So there are two different commands. For one, if Susie were to just click on that little compose button, that purple at the bottom left, it's going to keep writing and it's going to take into account the entire context of everything it can see above it. And it's going to kind of just rock and roll. All right, let's see how it's doing. So Susie didn't give it any direction. She just said, write for me. And he's going to do his best based on what's already been written. You can also use it kind of like Siri, which is what she showed earlier, where she told Jarvis to do something and then made him do it.
Can I do that? All right, so I want Jarvis to list the causes of insomnia. So I'm going to highlight it and do Control Enter.
Yep.
And let's see if he does.
Boom.
Cool. All right, we got. Obviously, like if you're in this niche, you should go back and fact check that the things that Jarvis is putting out is correct. I'm not saying go into a niche that you have no idea about and just start writing articles. Definitely have some knowledge of what you're writing, but so far everything makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. Stress, lack of exercise, too much caffeine or alcohol consumption are just some examples. Can also be the result of an underlying condition like depression or chronic pain. Be like list of insomnia causes. Gonna add that to our blog post. All right. Now, how to prevent insomnia and fall asleep faster. All right. We're gonna make that an H2 heading. Here are the best ways to fall asleep when you have insomnia. And this is where we're going to go into the people also ask questions that Google gave us, which in turn people gave Google. And so we just gathered that information. So we're going to write an article that people are asking for. How do I fall asleep instantly? How do you fall asleep in 5 minutes? Now we're going to go through these questions and see which ones we really want to work or use. I force myself to sleep. Okay. How long can you go without sleep? There was one that I really liked. How do I shut my brain off at night? Let's try that. So our number one tip can be shut your brain off at night. All right, I'm going to do that. Make an H2 and tell Jarvis to write. Cool. All right. So Jarvis is saying, go for a walk an hour before bed. Walking will help release any pent-up energy and reduce stress, both of which will make it difficult to fall asleep at night. All right, so I'm going to say tip, not all of that. Tip number 1, go for a walk. All right. We can have other tips here. So as I was writing that first part, Jarvis was composing more to the article. Drink water or herbal tea. We're going to add that. Another H2. And obviously you can expand on each one of these. So let's try it. Let's see what happens if we tell Jarvis to write a little bit more. Cool. See, it's already trying to mimic me with the tips. How cool is that? I haven't seen that yet. So it's trying to mimic, oh, okay.
Smarty pants.
Yeah, let's make that 2 and tip number 3 here. Oh, that's really cool. Oops. Is that okay? All right. Any questions people have?
Yeah, a couple of good ones. I was waiting for you to have a stop point. So Yoga Flight asks, you saw a previous demo of using pound signs or hashtags, depending which generation you were born in, before any headers. So do we do that? And she's referring to, if you want to click on that pro tips icon at the bottom right, there are some ways of continuing to nudge Jarvis in the right direction. Marking subheaders with the pound sign, I don't think that's needed anymore, because that was on a previous version before they actually added in the ability to put headers in your content. Yeah. It used to all just be like very plain text. So now you can actually double click on it, make it H2, H3, and Jarvis can learn from that. But you lead into a very important point, which is about context. So I don't want to get too geeky here or anything, but depending on the plan you have, Jarvis can look back and basically read what he's already written and use that to compose future content. So let's say you've got a 500 words written so far. Jarvis can look back and understand what he said to try to make sure that he's going in a cohesive direction. But there's sometimes if you're going from one clear break of a section to another, where you're going from maybe a what, why, and now you're going to go into a how section, maybe you don't want to have all that in his like history and his memory before he's writing. You can use the 3 stars to kind of be a clean break point, and Jarvis will not read above that to know what to write next.
Right. So here we kind of transition to all the tips.
Exactly. I hope that makes sense. And then another question about plagiarism. I think, Suzi, you're going to talk about plagiarism in your content.
Yeah. So there are services that you can use to check for plagiarism. If you feel any kind of iffiness with content that Jarvis produces, you can just take a sentence or 2 and copy and paste and put it in Google and see if you find anything similar. I've done this over and over because I have the same kind of concern. Like, is this really okay? And I haven't found anything. There's services you can pay for and then take the entire article and put that through that service. A lot of people use those plagiarism checkers. If you're paying for articles, say from somebody on Fiverr or a copywriter, and you want to make sure that their content is unique. But there's thousands of users that have used Jarvis and nobody's really found any plagiarism.
Yeah, another thing you can do is, just to illustrate this, double click and like select an entire paragraph. And then on that little drop down, you'll see it has rephrase, or like there's some options there to rephrase, to fix the grammar, and do other things. So just say rephrase it a couple times and just show what happens here. So this is not going to the internet and picking out a line and publishing it in. That's not what Jarvis is doing. It's actually taking an idea and writing based on that idea. He's actually doing the writing process. So every time you hit compose, every time you rephrase something, it will actually rewrite it. So it's creating original content every time you generate it. But obviously it's not there. You still need to fact check. You still need to make sure the content is right. But don't think that he's just going through and plagiarizing.
Yeah. And Sharon says she uses Grammarly for plagiarism. That's awesome. I love William's comment. Imagine every paragraph starting with "in a world."
Unknown to artificial intelligence.
All right. So we got tip 1, 2, 3. I'm just going to tell list of tips to fall asleep fast. Let's see what Jarvis comes out with that. So you can see we can use the questions that Google has. We can use some of Jarvis, what it's writing already. Like, there's a lot of it. It's kind of like this, I don't know, you're building the blog post in a way with Jarvis.
And Suzi is right now kind of off the top of her head giving commands to Jarvis. Yeah. But there's also, if you're on the basic plan, or you're not on the boss mode plan, you can still use all their templates. And maybe that would be something where you could like have them, for some of the people who are on the basic plan, to show how to open up the template library.
You want to show them?
I don't know if I can I would need to share the screen, but
okay. All right, we'll get to that after.
Okay.
Yeah, after this stuff. Sure. All right, so as you guys can see, we can go through and add multiple tips here. Obviously, we promised in the blog post title we're going to have 10. So I can go through tip 4, natural light. Tip 5 can be take a warm bath. Tip 6, eat a light meal. And you can expand on each one of these to make the blog post more robust, right? So it's been about 20 minutes of just kind of playing around, and we're taking a lot of time explaining it. And we have over 500 words. So honestly, for me, typically it would take a couple days to write a blog post. Some blog posts you're going to have to input more of your own knowledge into it because Jarvis might not know, but it's helped me get unstuck on blog posts that I'm writing. So say, for example, I'm writing about ways that moms can help their kids or whatnot, and I just like I don't have any more ideas. I asked Jarvis for it, just get me unstuck, and then the content keeps flowing. All right. So do we actually go through every single? We have so much to cover. I don't know if we can go through. Okay. So imagine this is our tips, right? I'm going to try to wrap up the blog post part because I think that you guys are awesome, smart people, and you are getting the gist of this. Now, what I would want to do, you can still use the questions. We can go through them. There's a lot of content that you can just grab from the questions and have Jarvis help you compose that. But we can also, what's next in our list here? We have done the how. We can add an FAQ. That's where those extra questions that you have from the people also ask section can become an FAQ section on your blog post to make it more valuable. We could add a conclusion and then a call to action. So could I actually here? Yes, I can. Go into power mode.
There it is.
There it is. We were waiting for it. John was like, please just do it.
Like, nudging her in the right direction.
I know, right? You're so sweet. All right, so we got our tips. Now I'm going to go to blog post conclusion paragraph. All right, so we have our blog, stop, go, call to action. Yeah. So our main points to outline in the blog post is how to go to sleep faster and not stress. Call to action is go to sleep, stop browsing the internet, because obviously people are probably laying awake at night reading about how to fall asleep faster. So that's my call to action. You probably would have a different call to action. Hey, sign up for my course to help you fall asleep faster, get my book, whatnot, right? And I'm going to click on generate the content. It's writing. It's writing there. Waiting for it to write. Okay. And here's concluding paragraphs. If you want to sleep better, there are a few things that can help. First of all, it helps to establish a regular bedtime routine, which we covered earlier. Try relaxing before bed. Finally, don't drink caffeine after lunch. In addition, stay off social media sites like Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube right before bed.
That's just good advice in general.
You deserve some peace before sleeping. Give yourself permission. I love that. And that was the first one. It generated 3 different concluding paragraphs. Mm-hmm. Guys, this is phenomenal. My goodness. Like, I'm pretty blown away. So I'm just going to click on copy.
Yep.
And then I'm going to click on paste.
Booyah.
And we have our concluding paragraph. So obviously you can format it a little bit, make sure everything sounds right, is in your tone, you have all your tips covered, and then you can copy and paste this blog post and put it on your website. Make sure, here's a couple last tips. Here you go. Use Jarvis to help you. We kind of went through this. Here's just a reminder of what we did. Then at the end, add it to your website, interlink with other articles, add a featured images, check the permalink before you hit publish, and then hit publish. All right. So that's pretty much it. It was pretty easy to write a blog post. If your topic is more technical, a little bit more advanced, you're going to have to prime it a little bit better with more of your own content, and then Jarvis will help. So don't be dismayed when you sign up for Jarvis and you're like, I don't know how to use this. It doesn't make any sense. Really spend some time getting to know the robot and giving it content so that it can work with you. In the beginning, I didn't like it that much, but now after I've used it a couple weeks and days, it's better. It's better. Yeah.
For sure. One thing, or something asked about the Surfer SEO integration, or in general, like writing good SEO styled content. We haven't used their specific integration. There's a tool that you can like try to SEO it as you're writing it. But as Suzi kind of blitzed over, pasting it into your blog post, you can also use plugins that are free, like Yoast or Rank Math or Squirrely SEO. There's a bunch of them out there, so that once the content's pasted in, you're not really writing it with an SEO mindset inside of Jarvis. Then you can go through and a lot of tools will tell you if it's written to a high level or if it's too easy and things like that. So that's also very, very helpful.
All right.
Okey-doke.
Is there anything else you want to show them?
Um, I'll do one quick thing.
Yeah,
I'll share my screen
sure.
and let's see here. So this is my screen now, and I'm sharing that tab. So let me do one quick share here. I'll just share the window.
Oh, Denise has a good question. Can you put previous blog posts into Jarvis so it will learn quickly?
Yes.
That's an awesome idea.
Yeah, you could essentially copy your blog post in and then rephrase, step by step, or add a creative story in. There's a lot of things you can do. Okay, I think you guys can see my screen now. Let
Yeah,
me
you
make
have
it.
to zoom in a little bit.
Okay, let me just make this smaller. How's that looking? Looks pretty good.
Yeah, looks good.
All right. So a lot of the questions were about what if I don't have the boss plan or if I'm only on the basic plan. So you could basically do not everything, but you can do a lot of what we talked about. You would just kind of be in this mode where you'd have a Google Doc open and you need to write an intro paragraph. So then inside the basic mode, you would just be able to go to like a blog section and I want to write a blog post intro paragraph. And this is available on the basic. So let's say how to fall asleep faster. And you can say this is my audience is to new moms. I think that was kind of what you're using. Give it a few ideas, generate content, and then it's going to kick this out over here. Now, this isn't where you can just tell Jarvis, okay, now roll with it. But you can take that content and let's find one that works well. Okay, take it, copy, go over to your document, paste it in, and then you can kind of go back and forth between Jarvis and yourself. Obviously, it's a less fluid way of doing it, but it also can work quite well. Okie doke. Let's go ahead. How do I do this? That'll work. Okay, it's gonna look okay. So Suzi talked through how to create a blog post and make it look amazingly awesome and do it really, really fast. But also some people are looking at this and saying, hey, it's kind of expensive. It's kind of a pro level tool and I'm just getting started. So I want to walk you through the process, a very similar process to what I used when I started doing web design services. I started building websites, building funnels, running ads. I did all that kind of stuff when I first left my corporate job back in the end of 2018. And I want to kind of break down a very simplified version for you guys here to instantly justify the price of Jarvis. And kind of, if you're getting started blogging, the challenge is like it takes a while for blogging to really start to bring in that income. So this is what I believe is the smartest process to kind of bridge that gap between getting your blog started and then making a full-time income. So I'm going to walk you through that high-level process here. All right. So here's where we're going. This is kind of the big picture. We're going to show you how to, not how to, but the steps between publishing content on your own website to use as a portfolio, not really meant to be an income stream on its own, but to be kind of a proving the quality of your work. We'll show you how to research and do outreach to actually get clients that you can write for. I'll show you my super secret sales closing techniques. It's wildly hard. No, I'm kidding. We'll show you how to be authentic and close people over the phone for services and measure and grow your business, how to actually turn this process into a measurable and growable business. All right. So the first thing is, like, if you followed what Suzi just did, you start cranking some content out. You're going to start thinking about your blog at first as a portfolio site and then later on as the full-blown business. Okay. So I like to think about this in long-term and short-term thinking. On the long-term side, which topic, which niche do you want your blog to be long-term? Like, where do you want to really focus in and make your money as your main business? But in the short term, what niche are you also going to be happy to serve other people with? Obviously, it's probably going to be the same. Like if you're passionate about, if you're a new mom and you're helping moms learn how to sleep, that's likely going to be something you'd be happy to work with in short term and long term. So once you have that figured out, start publishing some content, some quality content, 5 to 10 articles. You don't need to go crazy because the goal here is to actually make money directly from offering writing as a service, not just on ad revenue or affiliate marketing or things like that. All right. If you don't want to have your own blog, you can still use websites like Medium or other existing public blogs, blogging sites. And I don't really want you to target hard keywords like mom advice. Like that would be a tricky keyword to rank for. We want to make sure that you are showing that you know how to get an article to rank on the first page of Google, because that's kind of the result you're going to be promising potential clients. All right. So, yep. Your result is I'm going to create content that is relevant to the industry and it gets ranked on page 1. That's what freelance writing is for when it comes to content marketing and SEO. And then if you do have your own website, just have a very basic work with me page, and we'll show you kind of what to do with that page in a moment. All right. I'm blitzing through this quickly, so I want to make sure we have enough time for Q&A at the end, but feel free to ask questions in the comments. All right. So for the research and outreach process, this is basically how to find good clients or good prospects that you can reach out to and write for. So step one, and we'll go through this in text as well, but I wanted to have this visual, where we're going to use Google to actually find good clients for us. We're then going to give value in advance by actually spending a little bit of time on their website and giving value to them. And then we're going to offer to help them further if they book time with you. Okay. Now, a couple keynotes on this slide here is we're going to be focused on page 2 to 5 of Google to find good clients. We're going to be doing different things to make sure that some of you have probably gotten cold outreach where people are, I'll show you a bad example of cold outreach in a second. We're going to give you a good way of doing outreach that increases your chances of actually getting opened, of people following through, and of building up rapport from the get-go. And lastly, we're going to make it easy for them to take that next step. All right. So just for funsies, we got this like literally less than 24 hours ago. Here's how not to pitch for new clients, and not, for their privacy, not showing anything about them, but they reach out, found our articles are relatively good. Relatively. Excellent content ideas related to, we do not teach photo editing tips or photography. And yeah, what do you say? So don't do this. Like, I don't want you to go out and send thousands of emails every day. We'll walk you through a good way to do this. Okay, so a bit more detailed on that outreach process is understand the goal. Businesses want to get their websites on page 1. So how do you find good businesses? Look on page 2, page 3, page 5 of people who are trying to get their articles ranked. There's an extension called the Moz bar, where if I scroll back here, that little black bar up there, it has a couple of pieces of information, and we can probably show you that in person here. You want to use the Moz bar to see what the domain authority, don't want to get too technical here, but basically how powerful that website is. And you want to find websites that are kind of middle or low ranking for that. If they have a very high domain authority, they likely already have a significant writing team. They already have a bit of a process. It's going to be more than likely you're going to be wasting your time trying to convert them into a client versus somebody who's trying to get up there. And then once you find that article that's on page 3 or page 5, read the article, take a look at it, find 2 or 3 ideas of how that article could get closer to getting on page 1. And I personally like to use video feedback, and I'll show you what that looks like in a second, and actually show that result. I kind of sent myself some feedback to give you an example what one could look like. And I sent myself in it. I would give it a subject line. I just wanted to show you what this looks like here. But what's nice about this email? I'm saying, hey, I was checking out your website and I found this particular article, but there's 3 things that might be preventing it from getting to page 1. Click the link down below to watch a video about it and see what you can do to improve it. And actually, if you see this, if you are that website owner and you see that page in that email that's personalized and you see some guy moving around down below, you're gonna be way more interested in clicking that and versus like a very templatized email. Yeah. If they click on it, oh goodness gracious, it's going to go over to a video. I'll show that in a second. Sometimes it gets blocked by our over interested internet service provider, but it's going to click over to a video where it'll show a calendar booking page as well. And I use the tool Dub, but there's a bunch out there that can do videos in mail. Okay. And then on the watch page, you can add a call to action button or, embed the calendar directly for people to book a free time to talk to you and maybe see if they'd like to work together. What's nice about this is you're not going to find a whole bunch of tire kickers because you've already built up a bit more rapport and help by giving them value. So the people that will hop on with you already know that you can help them, and that filters through a lot of the junk that might come through otherwise. Okay. So once you get them onto the phone, you say, hey, thank you for setting some time up with me. I like your website. I like this article. Those are some ideas. Let's talk some more about it. Here's kind of how I engage prospects, and it does very well to get them to want to work with me. I ask questions about them. It's like if you walk into a doctor's office and you don't know anything about that patient and you're the expert and you immediately say, we should go operate on your shoulder. The person would be immediately thrown off. It's like, you don't know anything about me or my history. How can you already start prescribing what I need? And a lot of service providers, if they do, writing or video work or anything like that, they assume they already know what the problem is for that business. And it's kind of disrespectful, honestly. So I always like to spend a bit of time asking questions, getting to know them, and also people like to talk about themselves, if you haven't noticed. So if you get them to talk about themselves, they're already a bit happy and all more excited to work with you. But there's also a nefarious reason why we ask a lot of questions. While they're talking, I want you to be listening and having your own internal dialogue with yourself. And ask yourself these questions. First, can I help this person? Like if they are if their problem is not with their writing and maybe they've got a whole other set of issues, I don't want you to waste your time working with somebody that you won't be able to get results for, because it makes it harder for you to increase your prices, to have better testimonials. You want to actually know, can I help this person? Second question, do you want to help this person? In the beginning, you might not be able to be so picky, but as you grow your business, you want to make sure that you work with clients that like energize you, that you have a good jive with, and that you want to actually have a relationship with, because you will. And the third question is, how would I help this person? I want you to have a bit of a framework, like, okay, hearing what they're talking through, what would you do for them? How, like, would you recommend they publish daily, publish weekly? General content of what would my overall game plan be? It doesn't need to be down to the nitty gritty, but at least have an idea, because you're going to change the conversation flow in just a second. If you can like answer positively to all these questions and you kind of like, yeah, I got this. At some point, you're going to need to change into the close section, and it's super tricky. I've got this secret hard close technique. You say this exactly. I'm joking, by the way, but this is the general concept. Say, hi, Mr. Mrs., their name. I've really enjoyed learning about your business. I am 100% confident I can help you achieve your goal. I'd love to work with you. What questions do you have for me? Super hard close, right? You're not talking about prices yet. You're simply saying like, hey, I know what I would do. I am happy to work with you. What questions do you have? Because what happens then is you stop talking. You let them actually lead the conversation. You've been leading it thus far by asking questions, but now you just stop and you answer their questions authentically, kindly, truly, and just be ready for questions. They're going to ask you about your overall process, how much you charge, when do they see results, all the standard questions you can kind of be prepared to answer. But also, as you get better at doing this, you will simply learn what you do specifically, how it works for you. And at some point, they'll either say, yeah, let's give this thing a try. If they're worried about price, and we'll talk about pricing in a second, you can simply offer them a free trial. Say, hey, I'll write you an article for free. You can see how the process works. And then, no obligation, or maybe you give it to a discount or something like that in the process. As far as pricing a service like this, what's very common is to either price per word. So you could say, hey, for an easy article or easy content, you might charge 5 cents per word, which works out to $50 for a 1,000-word article, or 3 cents per word for $30 for a 1,000-word article. But again, as you get better, as you get testimonials, you can go to 10 cents, 15 cents, 20 cents per word. It all really depends on your ability to convince them, get results for them, and have a portfolio of stuff you've done in the past to help you out. Or you could do a price per article. Maybe you say, hey, if you do just a few articles, only $50 per article, and every article is between 800 and 1,200 words or something like that. Or you could give them bulk pricing. Hey, if you want to continue to write more, then $40 per article. Make it easier for them to say yes. What we like to do, or I think makes the most sense, is to do price per word, because some content you will just be able to find so much meat you can put in there. So price per word, but I would grade it by difficulty. What I mean by that is if it's a very easy topic, like 10 ways to lose weight or something like that, that doesn't require a ton of research, maybe charge less per word on those, and maybe more per word on difficult, more research heavy content where there's less AI using it and more of your own skill work doing the work.
Yeah, I have a freelancing friend that she's so good now. She charges $1 per word for her articles. And she writes for very big, well-known websites that are heavily researched, but she can get $1,000 for a 1,000-word article.
That's nuts. Fantastic. Yeah. So when I put these are like the bottom of the barrel prices.
Starting,
please don't think this is like the most you can do as a freelance writer. But this is something to build your confidence. And also, the beauty is about doing client work. Client 1 could be 5 cents per word. Client 2 could be 25 cents per word. It's not like you have this really big thing. Every client becomes a different contract, basically. And I say here, your value increases your experience, social proof, and results increase for your clients. All right. And then just a couple of things, because I've seen people, I learned a couple times the hard way. Decide on your plan and have the client pay 50% upfront to begin the engagement. There's a lot of work in the beginning, and the last thing you want to do is not get paid. So make sure they're committed. And if you want to, it's a nice thing as you start to get a bit more proceduralized, is having proposal documents, and there's a lot of tools out there that can help out with doing that. Or if in the beginning, if you're stressed out about doing proposals and all that, you don't have to. Just know you're putting yourself in a little bit of risk by not having that upfront. And Susie and I are both engineers. We like to think like in systems. So just to give you an idea of how this works, I'll also include an unannounced bonus. Is we put together a spreadsheet for this because I got tired of actually doing the math on the calculator on how this all kind of works out. And I just want to let you see how this process works. We've basically created a funnel. In the last 10 minutes or so of working through this, we've created a funnel where we are doing outreach. We're getting traffic by finding people and sending videos, and we're booking meetings, which is basically our conversion event of trying to get people to convert from not knowing about us to liking us, to sending out proposals, getting clients signed, and then building up our client list over here. And so just to give you an idea of how this could work for you, even with if you're using low priced, low price per word, if you send out, and these are numbers I pulled out of the air, right? If on a weekly basis, let's say you send out 10 videos a day, you're just going to say, hey, 30 minutes at night, I'm going to Netflix and chill, and I'm going to go and find potential prospects. And you take a look at some articles, you send some dub videos or link videos over to them. You send out 70 videos in a week. That sounds like a lot, but if it's 10 a day, you can do that easily in 30 minutes a day of doing all your prospecting. From that, some are going to come back and be interested and be appreciative of the value you gave them. They'll book meetings of some of them. I think this is a pretty bad closing rate. You probably should be able to get about 50% from there, but you'll be able to get some proposals and sign some clients and start to build up a book of clientele. Now, let's say those 2 clients agree to 1,000 words a month. That's 2,000 words. And I think if you're charging like 5 cents a word, it's $100 per month from those 2 clients that could continue in perpetuity as you go through. Right there, your first week, you've paid for your Jarvis Pro plan, by the way. Like, it's about $100 a month. So if you do that, then you can continue to, if all you do is 2,000 words a month for your clients just to pay for your subscription, you can do that in one day with Jarvis. And then you have Jarvis for free to build your own business as well, just to kind of like get your gears going.
Yeah. Can you say that again? That is really good for the people in the back.
For the people in the back of the room, with only 2 clients charging 5 cents per word, which is pretty much bottom of the barrel, you can get $100 a month from doing one night's worth of work, like one half night's worth of work of writing content for your clients. And that can pay for your entire Jarvis subscription, which will allow you to use the rest of your time, the other 29 nights of the month, to build your own business for free.
Wow.
So there's that. But the beautiful thing is like, if you do more work the next week, you can get more clients, but also you haven't lost your first clients, right? So you're able to actually continue to build your book of overall monthly recurring revenue. So let's say you get $100 for your first week, $400 your next week. Like your income starts to grow until the point where you get to maybe week 4, week 5, week 6. You're tired of doing prospecting. You've got enough work to do. You've got 11 clients now you're managing. You can turn off that engine. That's a client getting engine. You can stop going to page 2 of Google and finding new things, but you can keep your recurring revenue going over time. So it's a simple process. It's not easy because it does take work. There's nothing to really automate here, but it's a way to actually create a business. You could do this while you have your full-time job, and you can get your freelance writing fulfilling on that. Like, as you're building your book of clientele and you're fulfilling it, it can be tricky to manage your time. But if you get to where you're exceeding or you're getting close to your hourly wage at your day job, you have a path out through blogging without having to build thousands of articles on your own website at the same time.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
All right. So I blitzed through that to give us time to go through the blueprints, but are there any questions that kind of came up along the way?
No, people just love like the possibility of doing this. And I think it's great. If you've been blogging for a while and you feel just like, man, I just need to start making a little bit of money, or you're just starting your blog and you do need to cover the groceries, like you can't just be doing this as a hobby. This is a great way to get started. Spend half of your time doing freelancing, half of your time building your own blog using the Jarvis tool, which is going to make both of those processes so much faster. And then once your freelancing starts covering all your blogging costs and your blogging starts picking up and making its own money, you can start cooling down on more clients. So kind of start heavy on the clients and slow on the blogging, and then it kind of starts to shift where your own business starts growing enough and you can kind of let go of the clients as you grow. But it's a phenomenal process.
Yep. And truth be told, the reason why I felt comfortable teaching this, because I've never actually written as a profession, I've never done freelance writing, but it's the exact same thing for any sort of marketing service. If you're doing website design, or if you're doing e-commerce setup or anything like that, the exact same process applies. And so I did this to help people build websites, build e-commerce stores, run ads, and I would just kind of plug in my own front end process, still sending videos, booking meetings, and sending proposals. But maybe I would look at their Facebook ads, or I'd look at their Facebook page and give suggestions, or I'd look at their e-commerce store and give suggestions. The whole goal here is you're giving value in advance. Nobody feels like they're being taken for a ride or anything. Nobody feels like they're wasting time. They actually want to talk to you, because if you give them a good suggestion, you better believe they're going to want more free suggestions. So it's a powerful way of doing this. And Tara asked, John, were you doing video outreach in the beginning? Yes, it was not my only method, but it was one of my methods. Generally, I started off doing video with YouTube, doing very niche technical tutorials that kind of showed I knew what I was talking about. And I would make them in such a way that only if you needed help with that would you even care about that video. Like, nobody's going to look for this stuff when they want to like relax at night. So I would basically create content that would attract people to my skill set. But in the beginning, before I had that YouTube content built up, I was going and I was looking for clients that I knew and I would help, and I would give value in advance to get them to want to talk to me. The challenges in that example that we gave earlier about the bad outreach method was there was no value given in advance. It was basically, hey, I want to work with you. What do you say? I think you're okay. What do you want to do? Like, I have no reciprocity built up in that relationship. I don't. Honestly, that person's kind of just wasted my time. So it's good to pre-prove that you can help them before you ask for anything in return. Okie dokie. So on the next slide is a little button. And I think that button's going to take us to the blueprints here. So what we've done here is we've given you some free blueprints. I know y'all can't see this.
The blue blueprints.
The blue.
Is that why you made them blue?
For the record, I did not design these, so they kind of look bad. We might need to pretty them up a little bit.
Pretty them up.
I'm not the designer.
I was working on Jarvis, and then I forgot about putting up these slides. But
look how beautiful I have that green.
They actually are pretty.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. All right, so it's going to be a little bit tricky to read these, I think, with the resolution of the screen. Y'all can't
zoom in. Can you make your screen here? The three things.
Yeah. What do we got? There we go. No.
Oh,
well, because it's a Google thingy. All right, let me try one other thing while Susie maybe answers a question or something, because I'm being all tech.
Thank you, Tara, for all the awesome comments. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Anthony. He says, thanks again for your amazing content. Love these classes. That's awesome. Rose is excited about the possibility of freelancing.
I'm going to try something.
You're blogging, but for somebody else, and you're getting paid for it, and you can still grow your own blog. So yeah, I think it's a phenomenal idea.
All right, cool. I think this works a little bit better.
All right, let me see.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing that I've struggled with. With our main business was helping moms start blogs, and it went after it from a specific angle of moms just they needed something to start to build that, but not be too intense. Yeah. This is taking it from the exact same skill, but from a different mindset. It's I need to replace my income tomorrow, and we will get some students who will email us and ask, "Hey, how can I start your course today and have income tomorrow coming in to where I can pay my rent?" And I've always wanted to offer this solution as that, because truth be told, if you're in a position where you need a job and not to build a business slowly, like this is a job that you can start today and get some clients in a week's time. So I think it is a powerful framework. Not for everybody though, understandably. Okay, so we put together 3 little gifts for you. These are Jarvis blueprints of different ways to use it. One thing that once you've written your article, like you've gotten Suzi's entire process for writing that SEO blog post, but what comes next? What happens after the publish button? Well, some people will find it from Google over time, but you can also create social media promotion strategies around that content using Jarvis. And I'll try to use him as well in this. So what we're doing here is we're taking an evergreen blog post, something that would be valuable to have traffic driven to all year long. And we're going to create like a year's worth of promotion content for it using Jarvis. And you can do this on the basic plan as well. Okay. So the overall, I'm going to zoom into these things. Oh, hello. And then we'll use Jarvis to kind of show you an example of how you can do this. So step one is you have an evergreen blog post created, something that is really good. I want you to grab the top, let me go in here, the top 3 to 5 headlines, or some ways of summarizing that content. All right. Once you have that, we're going to bounce into Jarvis, and he's got what's called marketing frameworks. So instead of just writing a blog post, if you want to write a sales page, or if you want to write a Facebook ad or a social media promotion post, there are these really well-trained frameworks that Jarvis understands. So there's the AIDA, which is attention, interest, desire, and action. There's problem, agitate, solution. There's a bunch of these. So basically, we're going to go through and take these frameworks and plug in the content you have, and we'll use the article we just wrote as an example. And we'll kind of kick out a bunch of outputs. We'll find the best ones, and we'll schedule those as being promotional content for our blog post. So let's do that. Let's go here. All right, so I'm going to zoom in really far. Give me a second. How's that? Is that good?
Yeah, that's good.
That's pretty good. All right, we're going to go home here. And if you're on the not free version, but the basic version of this, you still have access to the entire template library. So I'll click over to frameworks, and let's go to that AIDA as an example. And I was using this as I was coming up with the blueprint and putting it together for you, where I was actually create history for here. So we had the blog post was how to defeat insomnia, and something like that. Give it a very basic overview. And then if you have your H2s, you can plug your H2s in here, your headers, or you can just kind of write some summaries of what that blog post was about. And you can choose a different tone of voice. So what was that? Who was saying a funny one?
Elvis Presley.
Yeah, Elvis Presley.
See,
We have unlimited output, so we're okay to kind of have some fun here. And what this is going to do is it's going to describe this content from the perspective of attention, interest, desire, and action. We'll show you what that looks like in a second.
we got called cutie pies.
I'll take it.
Take any compliment I can get, man.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm on the history tab.
Yeah.
So the history tab will show you everything you've done, but the new outputs are what you're doing just in this session. Okay. So here's an example. Are you
sleep like a baby again?
home on. Are you looking at me? Insomnia.
That's funny.
All right. So it kind of, you wouldn't copy and paste it exactly like this, but it's showing you what it's doing. Attention. Are you looking for a way to defeat insomnia? It's calling out to the ideal target. That would be a great headline for like a Facebook ad, by the way. Interest, I'm here to tell you there's hope. You can sleep like a baby again. All it takes is la, 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 la. And then desire, blah, 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 blah. Action. Click this link now if you're ready to take back control of your life, insomnia. So that would link over to your blog post as an example. So I would take 5 or 6 of these, put them all into a list, onto Notepad, Microsoft Word, whatever you want to do, because you'll be repeating this process a few times, trying some different tones of voice. So I could do helpful instead. Let me just do like 2 outputs to save time. So helpful is a bit less wordy, but it's trying to be helpful. It's great. So you can go through that process and kick out a bunch of outputs. You can use the different frameworks. So they've got attention, interest, desire, action. They've got problem, agitate, solution. They've got feature to benefit. And they've got the before and after bridge, which I really like. We'll just show you the history of this one. So this is what I put in before about fall asleep faster. So before was you're tired of not being able to fall asleep at night. You tried everything, nothing seems to work. After, imagine falling asleep faster and waking up feeling more refreshed ever. These 8 tips will help you have a better night's you got it. And here's 8 ways to fall asleep faster at night. The bridge is your article.
Yeah.
So these are marketing frameworks that have been around since the dawn of direct response marketing, and they work. So you would go through,
especially if you come to the online world and you're not very salesy and you don't know how to get people to click on your stuff. Like having Jarvis help you with promoting your stuff makes you feel like, okay, I can do this.
Yeah. So basically you would go through that process of kicking out maybe like, let's say 50 between the different frameworks, at least use those 3 are my favorite. And then you're going to look at each one of them like, okay, I want these. Choose maybe your top 20 outputs, and you can edit them a little bit, schedule them as posts on Facebook, on Twitter, on wherever you're trying to get traffic from. And you can use tools like Socialmonials or Buffer to do this all in one night and have a year's worth of content scheduled out. Or you can use a native scheduling tool on Facebook and either select some stock images to go with it or the featured image from the blog post or other content you want to use and publish them.
Yeah.
And what I would do next is just see what works.
Ooh.
Over time, you can see which tone of voice works better for your audience. If you keep organized on, like, I would probably have a big old spreadsheet and say, like, hey, I published it. Or a lot of these scheduling tools have analytics built in. So see what works better for your audience and then do more of what works.
All right, just a little idea here.
Yeah.
So we talked about freelancing earlier. You can also do social media management. And if you go to other bloggers and you can kind of see they have the articles, they have a blog on their website, but their social media presence is pretty lacking.
Yep.
You could be their social media manager and you could be creating these content briefs and bridges for them. So not only you just pull their blog post into it, create it through Jarvis, and then post it or schedule it out for them. And social media managers, depending on how much work you do and what your contract is, but you can charge a couple $1,000 per month to help people promote their business online. So you can either use Jarvis. I mean, you can use Jarvis for so many things, but freelancing and social media management is pretty easy here.
For sure. I mean, you're a copywriter now. You're doing marketing copy. And what you could do on that one, we're bouncing ideas off each other now, is instead of just sending a video response to them, you could actually say, hey, here's 20 pre-done for you social media post ideas to promote this blog post. If you'd like, I can get them scheduled for you for free if you get on a call with me. So a lot of things you can do there. Great.
You can send them one for free because it was, Did you just say that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was my idea.
Also, like, of course it was your idea, honey. All right. So that's one blueprint. Was that cool? I hope that was cool.
That was really cool.
Enjoyed that.
I liked it.
Another one that this is a bit not out of left field because Jarvis can still help with this. But one thing I'm very passionate about is running Facebook ads. Just kind of fun for us. Sorry about that. But I see a lot of people doing it wrong. They try to like make their content really like catchy but not valuable, and it bothers me. So I wanted to include at least a script for what you can do for either text posts and this can be used honestly not just for ads but for any content where you're trying to build value and also convert people into customers. And it basically works on a 6-step level or so. I don't know exactly how many steps there are, but whenever you're trying to find a cold audience to get them interested in what you do and how you can help them, you want to make sure you're calling out to them by asking, hey, in the first words of your script or the first lines of your article, hey, do you want this? Are you looking for that? Are you a mom trying to get better at sleeping? Anything like that, call out to your ideal audience. If they're not in the audience, they're going to bounce off. If they're in the audience, they'll keep listening.
Yeah.
Next up, give a preview what you're going to say. Hey, in this video, like, hey, are you a mom who's struggling to fall asleep? In this quick video, I'm going to show you 3 ways to fall asleep better without using any drugs or any unnecessary supplementation. Once they've given them a preview, they're kind of hooked in. They want to know what those tips are. So now is the opportunity to give them a soft little pitch. Before we dive into the value, I've put together a free checklist, a free freebie, a free course, free webinar, whatever, that you can learn by clicking the link down below. Don't go like hog wild trying to pitch them here. You got them on the hook though. So now is the time to make one offer. Next up, give some value. All right. So the first tip to fall asleep better is to do blah, blah, blah. Give them some value for a couple minutes. And by the time you're done, they'll really like you. And so now is the time for one last ask for them to do the next thing. Hey, thanks so much for watching this. If you found it valuable, please be sure to get your free copy of Blank by clicking the link down below. And then give it a headline. The headline could be a command. Watch this if you want blank. Value could be 3 ways to get blank. Or curiosity is it hard or impossible to blank? Fall asleep. So just a little framework there. I know we're short on time, so a little framework can be helpful for anything you do like that. And then I also went ahead and put together the content earlier about like the client attraction. I put that into a bit more of a step-by-step process, calling out some of the key headline pieces there. Whew. That was a lot.
Yes.
I'm gonna relax.
That was so valuable. It was like 3 business models in this 1 hour of teaching this. Like you could either use Jarvis for your own blog and grow that. You could use it to write for other people and while you're still growing your own thing. Or you could write smaller tidbits because somebody said, hey, I'm not a great blogger yet. I don't rank on the first page of Google. Who's going to pay me for my articles? So then maybe go through a different type of paid content creator like social media manager Facebook Engager, YouTube description writer. Like you can get really niche and start helping people out because we're all busy. Nobody has all the time to generate all this content. But if they have somebody that they can go to and be like, hey, that's my Facebook person, that's my Instagram person, that would be great. Even Pinterest pin descriptions. Like there's so much content that you have to create as you create an online business. Just think about all these little niches and then see how you can use Jarvis for that.
Absolutely. And if you're in that position where you're like, who would trust me, like that kind of imposter syndrome, it's okay. I would say use Jarvis for 1 month, publish 2 articles a day on Jarvis, go after very long tail keywords. So what I mean by long tail is like kind of obscure, like not a ton of people are searching for it. And
Ring of Fire.
yeah, that's all you, baby. And so by the end of the first month, yes, you probably have paid for Jarvis at that point. So you might be like, I'm in the hole. But I guarantee you, like you're going to get better at using it by the end of that first month. And that content, if you're choosing like strategically easy keywords to go after, they're going to be on page 1. And now after 1 month, you have confidence in yourself to do this. And also you have to be strategic with your clients and say, hey, these are the keywords I'd recommend going for. I wouldn't recommend going for a 1-word keyword. Like don't go for affiliate marketing and try to rank number 1 as a new blogger. So pick those easy ones and you can dominate.
All right. They say our next course is freelance by number. So many. Jarvis by number. But yeah, freelance is awesome. Thank you guys. Rose says, these videos on Facebook done in Dub or the one you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, I was using Dub for the videos, which are really cool. Here, answer one more comment and I'll pull up the video itself so you guys can see the entire process because I meant to do that and I forgot. So, one more for me. Yeah, if you want to answer one more question.
Oh, okay. Tara is asking, would you maybe do this, Suzi? I don't know what this is. Is it the course?
Probably freelance by numbers would be my guess.
I think I have like more blog post ideas that we can write. Oh, freelance by number. Whew, we have about 10 products already that we want to go through and update them and make them better. So before we add any more to the portfolio, we have plans to improve so many of the by number courses. And we love doing that. And sometimes it stings a little because we don't recharge our students for the updates, but we like delighting you guys. And as blogging grows, as creating printables, as creating courses and the things that we teach, as that grows and changes, we go and update the courses with more and helpful information. So before we create another freelance by number, which awesome idea, we do have to make sure the other courses are spick and span awesome.
Yes. That being said, one of the ones that's due for an update is actually services by number. It's one we don't really advertise that much.
Yeah, which is kind of freelance by number.
That's what that's what it's going to be. Yeah. It's going to be more on the active side. Much of what we teach is on the passive side, so we want to make sure we cover that as well. But we've got a whole plan of content to update and do another launch.
Not enough coffee, but it's awesome.
Sharon says maybe you can do it as a 30-day challenge. That would be intense. Maybe. I like that.
What, creating your first line?
Maybe updating services by number as a 30-day challenge of actually doing
challenging doing a course update like this.
Keeps me accountable.
Fun and it keeps us very engaged with our students. Yeah.
All right, so let me show you all what I meant to show you earlier. And pull up the screen. So talking about Dub, right? So if they click on this link, it's going to take them to a very simple landing page, which this is all created automatically for you, where they can click through, they can watch it. You can write on the screen, give value on it, very easy. And it's just like a Chrome button. I just push this little button up here and I can record that screen. And then down below, it's like, hey, would you like me to find 3 more easy wins with you? Book a time. That can either take them to like Calendly or some sort of booking tool, but they're Dub and Book Like a Boss are just 2 tools I've just had for a long time. They have a special integration where they can put the calendar directly there on the page. So they're watching you, and then you can have them book time with you right there. So the whole goal, like in conversion rate optimization, like trying to make your funnel work better, is just make it easy for them to say yes and make it hard for them to say no. So the fewer steps, the better.
All right. That was phenomenal. I was kind of blown away by what we can do here. Man.
Man.
All right. Anything else we need to share?
We will send an email out probably to everybody with the links to download these slides as well as the blueprints and everything else. But I think that's probably it.
Yeah, and then send us an email once you start using Jarvis and you love it. Send us articles that you write with it. Show us how you're using it. We're very excited. We've written a couple articles with Jarvis and using it a lot now in our business. It just makes everything so much easier. So hoping you love the tool as much as we do. And thank you guys for being here. Really, really appreciate it. Awesome engagement. Thank you, William, for all your funny comments.
All right, guys. Have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining us and take care.
Bye.
How do I turn this thing off here? There it is.